Welcome back to Walls to Bridges, the podcast where biblical truth meets therapeutic tools. In our first episode, we explored the deeper why behind conflict in marriages. Today, we are turning our attention to one of the most common, misunderstood patterns couples experience, and that is the dance between the pursuer and the withdrawer.
This pattern, it touches almost every marriage at some point.
Yes.
Basically, what you have is you have one person seeking connection
Mm-hmm.
while the other person is seeking peace.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem arises, when they're in this conflict. I'm sorry, let me repeat myself. Let me back up. The problem that arises
Mm-hmm.
is when one is pursuing and one is withdrawing, something actually shifts within the
Right.
relationship
Mm-hmm.
or within the situation at hand.
Right.
And so what happens is they are no longer fighting about an issue.
Mm-hmm.
They begin fighting about how they are handling the issue.
Right.
And so over time, they forget the issue and start focusing on the fight.
Right.
And so that can become very problematic in any relationship.
It's so true. Well, let's talk about what the pursuer looks like.
Mm-hmm.
At the core of the pursuer's heart is a longing for connection. We all want connection in our relationship. They move toward tension because they believe that closeness is through conversation. They believe that the closeness is restored through conversation. And what that means is this: when there's a conflict between the pursuer and the withdrawer, they immediately begin to want to resolve the issue. And so they come with tension and they like, look, we need to have a conversation right now. I've done that many times in our own relationship.
Yes, you
I've
have.
wanted to, all right, watch yourself now. I wanted to talk and you were like, babe, not right now. And I'm like, we need to resolve this. I know probably many of you out there can identify with being the pursuer. For many pursuers, there's an emotional connection for them. And when this happens, it causes their body to calm down, the pursuer's body, because they're wanting that connection. And when they feel like the withdrawer is connecting to them, they calm down and they're not so intense. They're not so intense. But when they feel like communication is breaking down, they become anxious, they become fearful, and so they lean into their partner because their goal is to restore connection.
Right.
And the other thing about a pursuer is they feel distressed in real time.
Right.
And they feel it in their bodies. In our last episode, we talked about what happens if the sympathetic nervous system, whenever people get anxious or startled, they either go into fight or flight mode. And this is what happens with the pursuer. And so for them, when this happens, they feel unsafe.
Yeah.
I think it's just so interesting. But what they're trying to communicate to their husband or their wife is, when you turn away from me, I feel alone. And their driving desire is connection.
Right. I mean, for this particular person, love often looks like talking it out, staying emotionally present, repairing quickly.
So what happens when the partner pulls away, it doesn't just feel like distance to the pursuer. It feels like love is being withdrawn itself.
Exactly. I mean, and that makes a lot of sense because
It does.
in the mind of the pursuer, what they're saying is, if we can just talk this through,
Right.
we will be okay.
Again, just thinking about our own relationship, and now that I understand why I did what I did, it was because, and I've always told you this, I don't like it when I feel like there is a separation between us. And I want to get whatever it is resolved. And I'm pretty sure that shoe has been on your foot different times in our relationship as well. Oh, yeah. You know what?
No.
You're a hot mess. But anyway, go ahead.
It's interesting that you would say that. It's interesting you would say, I want to get this resolved,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But in reality, we never talk about what this is,
Oh yeah, that's true.
right?
It's, you know what? I think maybe we don't talk about it because we both know what the issue is.
No, no, we don't. I
Okay.
don't know what your issue is, right? And you don't know what my issue is.
Okay, I get what you're saying. I get what you're
Yeah.
saying.
So when the pursuer feels like if we can just talk this through,
Whatever is the problem.
but here
But
again,
I get what you're saying though.
what is the problem?
The
Is the
problem is,
problem the dishes?
oh no, it's something much deeper.
Okay. So, but what do we talk about?
Most of the time we talk about the dishes.
Right. So when the pursuer says we need to talk this through, you want to talk about the dishes.
Well, what you really should be talking about is how that makes you feel. Disconnected.
That fear,
Yeah.
that disconnection, that rejection, or that emotional abandonment.
Yeah.
And so, the scripture speaks to this longing for closeness found in Genesis 2:18, where God says this, it is not good for man to be alone, right? Because we were made for connection.
Yeah. And what I love about that scripture is when you read it, God came up with the idea. And it's interesting that after he made that statement, he created the woman for the man. Because prior to that, once Adam named all the animals, he realized that there was no one like him.
Yeah.
And so God was like, that's not going to work for him. That's not going to be good for him.
No. Isolation.
Yeah.
Isolation is not the plan of God. It's not the design of God.
It is not. It is not. The challenge comes when God-given needs turns into pressure in a relationship. What feels like love to one spouse is speaking overwhelmingness to another.
Yeah. But they feel overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And that's the pursuer. So with the withdrawer, right?
Come on, talk to me now.
At the heart of the withdrawer is a longing for safety. As I said earlier, one person is seeking connection, the other person is seeking safety. When their emotions rise, right? When they get flooded, withdrawers don't move away because they don't care. They move away because they need
They need that space. Because if you keep pressuring them, they may respond in a way that could be harmful and say things that could be harmful to the relationship. Yeah, absolutely.
Pulling back for them is how they try to keep the peace, both inside themselves and the relationship. For them, distance is regulation.
Yes.
Allow me time to regulate. And here's why this is important. For many people who deal with this withdrawing posture,
Right.
they've either grown up where emotions were dismissed, emotions were viewed as negative,
Right.
or they just never learned how to manage
Their
emotions.
emotions,
So if you can imagine a 3-year-old throwing a tantrum, right? Just imagine that being 30.
You know, as you were speaking, and I was kind of reflecting in my own childhood, we were not taught to regulate our emotions, let alone express them. So as an adult, you either blurt out or you turn inward.
Yeah, you become like for the withdrawer. I'm going to give you two visuals that I want you to think about. And for some people, they won't catch this. Maybe you will. You remember the Incredible Hulk?
Yes.
The original Incredible Hulk.
David Banner.
We're not talking Marvel Incredible Hulk, right?
Oh, yeah.
When David Banner got flooded,
Yes.
what happened to his eyes?
His eyes got red.
Green.
Yeah, well, green, yeah.
Yeah,
How did they turn red?
Green, because the Hulk was green.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, right? And then he became the Hulk,
Right.
right? For withdrawers, that David Banner phase is when they're trying to withdraw, when they're trying to get away, when they're trying to regulate, when they're trying to figure things out internally, right? But when the pursuer keeps pursuing them and don't allow them that space, they turn into the Hulk.
That's not good.
And so now it's almost like taking a bomb to kill a fly.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
That's so true.
And so emotionally, the withdrawer is often saying stuff like this: I don't want to make this worse, right? I feel trapped or inadequate. I need a little space so I can stay safe.
You know what? As you were saying that, and just the example you just used about the Hulk, I believe that's why he was trying to get away, but he couldn't.
He couldn't.
He couldn't get away because he wasn't allowed to have that space. And so when your husband or your wife erupt, you're trying to figure out what just happened. Well, you didn't give them the space to regulate their emotions. Check this out. Research from the Gottman Institute says this, that many withdrawers reach psychological overwhelm far more quickly than pursuers. Withdrawal to them is not apathy. It is protection. It's often rooted in avoidant or fear avoidant attachment patterns. Look at that. I think everything has a pattern to it, why we do what we do.
Everything has a pattern. So if we go back, again to Genesis 2:18, and we look at God's pattern
Right.
for relationships, right? It is this mutual face-to-face correspondence, right?
Right.
But when it comes to this cycle, even though we have a partner, we revert back to Adam before Eve was ever created internally. In other words,
Yeah.
we choose to live our internal life
Yes.
as a single person, not allowing our partner to share in those inner experiences.
And I think that has to do with feeling safe and feeling like you can be vulnerable.
Right.
Okay, I got you.
Think about it. I mean, and you're absolutely right. Think about it like this as well. Can the enemy change God's design?
No, he
No.
cannot.
He doesn't have the authority.
No, he can distort it.
In this case, he can't. He didn't need to restore it. We're not, because that's a whole
Whole nother conversation, but we're not talking about that. Go ahead.
I mean, talking about that. In Adam and Eve's case, he didn't distort it. What he did was he caused there to be mistrust within the relationship.
You know what? That's exactly what he did.
And so now you got men and women who are married, but they don't trust each other emotionally. Wow. And when go ahead.
So they trusted each other enough to get married.
Yes.
But now that they're in this relationship, they have to be vulnerable enough to trust their partner with their emotions, with their feelings, how they feel. I get
Well,
you.
think about it. I trusted you enough to get married, but what I didn't realize is that baggage came with me.
Wow.
You remember when we talked about, when you're single, it's just you,
It's just you.
and if you stink, and you're okay with being stank,
Yeah. It's okay because it's just
it's
you.
okay because it's just you, right?
Right.
But then you get married, and your partner isn't okay with you being stank. Now you got a problem,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
So now you gotta deal with the problem. Whereas before you could just leave it as it is because it's just you.
It's just you, so you don't have to deal with it.
So you don't have to deal with it. So couples agree to get married because those problems have been dormant,
Yes, they have. That's so
right?
true.
Or they've been avoided. But because they love each other,
Yeah.
and here's the part they don't understand.
And
All
what's
right,
that?
where my camera at? Here's the part they don't understand. Most of their lives, these two people, most of their lives have either left relationships. Most of them left relationships because of the problems,
That's right. That's so true.
right? But now they have a mate that they are in love with, and they don't realize that these problems are coming to the surface for them to deal with them, so they can get back to that mutual face-to-face correspondence, which is the design of God.
One of the things they were saying, talking about the withdrawal, is that emotionally, the withdrawal may be saying, I don't want to make things worse. I feel trapped and inadequate, and I need space to stay safe. The withdrawal, they're not cold people. They're not cold at all. They're just overwhelmed.
Yeah, that's all. Just like we talked about in the first session, stonewalling.
We did.
People get emotionally flooded
Yep. We talked about that.
and they shut down.
Yes, they do.
Not because I don't love you, not because I just don't know how to deal with these emotions.
Again, just reflecting momentarily in my mind, I can think of instances I've done that in our relationship. I mean, when you just feel like, you know what, I don't want to talk about it right now because I don't want to say the wrong thing. So just give me some space and I'll come back.
Yeah.
But I love what the scripture says. In Proverbs 17:27, it says this: tell us, the one who has knowledge uses words with restraint. When you understand the power of your words, you learn, you don't just go off and you don't just say anything, but it's wisdom when you know how to restrain what you're saying. And because you understand, I could inflict a wound that it may take some time to heal. So can I have my space?
Yeah, just quick to speak, quick to hear, slow to speak. That's the way it should be. But even in our space, we should communicate that.
Well,
right?
I agree.
We
100.
should let our partner know, hey, I'm not leaving you. I just need some space.
That's it. That is it.
Because if I don't, I got to remember, space or silence to the pursuer feels like rejection.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
And so I got to let him or her know I'm not leaving this relationship emotionally. I just need some space. I just need some space.
Here's how the cycle is formed. The pursuer feels distance and presses in harder because they want to resolve the conflict. Because that distance to them means disconnection, and that means that they're losing love. The withdrawal feels pressure and pulls away even more.
Don't feel safe.
Don't feel safe. Man, I keep reflecting about our own relationship. And I've seen this many, many times in our relationship. Remember, I used to always tell you I love fellowshipping with you. And I don't like when we have issues between us. Because I like the fellowship with you.
I'm not going there right now. We on camera.
Anyway, go ahead, sweetheart.
What do you want me to say?
Okay. You know what? What's interesting is we had a session with a couple the other day. And at the end of it, the husband said this. He said, we both want the same thing. And that was what?
They want the relationship to work.
No, they said they wanted connection.
Yeah,
Well,
connection. Yeah.
This is why James 1:19 is so vital. It says this: everyone should be quick to hear, slow to speak, and slow to get angry. How many of you know that most of us are firecrackers? You go boom, 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 boom.
Quick to listen. Quick to listen.
God gave us 2 ears.
If I can learn how to hear what you mean versus what you're saying, it'll go a long way to slowing down this cycle.
Yeah, because what'll happen is this. That means you're listening with your heart. You're really listening to the other person with your heart because you genuinely want to know, what is it?
What's going on?
Yeah.
Again, what is really going on? And so it's very important that in every couple that we've counseled, their number one problem is communication.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And I believe when people think about communication, they want to learn how to talk to each other, right?
Yeah.
Which, if we're being honest, that is a very small part of communication.
It is.
The bigger part of communication is communicating. Let me say that again. I don't want people to think I'm playing semantics. The bigger part of communication is communicating. Most people in their communication don't communicate,
That's true.
right?
I hear what you're saying. I got you. I got
Because
you.
they're not telling you what's really going on.
Absolutely.
Let me do another analogy, if you will.
Go right ahead, sweetheart.
Wizard of Oz, right? At the end of the day, who was behind the curtain?
The wizard.
The wizard. Who was calling the shots?
The wizard.
The wizard. You never knew that till you got to the end of the movie, right?
That's true.
Most people, when they communicate, they never talk about what's behind the curtain.
Ooh, that's good right there.
They
That's so
never
good.
talk
Yeah.
about it. And the reason we don't talk about it is because we don't, as we said earlier, I don't trust you with those things that are behind the curtain.
Yeah. Oh my God.
So we communicate our fear. Our communication exists of our fear, abandonment, and rejection. So my communication is what I'm verbalizing, but I'm never really communicating
Kating, the real issue.
the real issues.
Yeah. Yeah. So, what is the pursuer's healing path?
What's the antidote?
The antidote, yes. The pursuer's healing path is softening their approach. Without intensity, without accusation, and without fear.
And urgency.
Yes.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, this is an example, instead of saying, you never talk to me, a soft approach sounds like this. I feel disconnected and I miss you. I'll tell you I miss you in a minute. I was like, babe, I miss you. I think it's so interesting that you can miss a person and be in the room with them. You can miss a person and be right in the room with them and still feel disconnected to them.
Because you haven't
deal with the wall.
You haven't dealt with what's behind the curtain.
Yeah. Ephesians 4:15 reminds us to speak the truth in love. Truth without love feels like an attack. And love without truth feels like an avoidance.
Yeah. It's the healing path for the withdrawer is to stay emotionally present.
Wow.
Even when it feels uncomfortable, right?
Yeah.
Now, this doesn't mean solving every issue. It means reassuring your spouse
Yes.
that you're not leaving the relationship emotionally.
Wow. You know, a lot of people, they have this issue where they feel like their spouse is leaving the relationship emotionally. Yeah.
Yeah. They don't want to talk about it, right? So they just
Yeah.
shut down. It feels like you're leaving the relationship emotionally. God let them, I'm not leaving emotionally. I just need space to deal with my emotions, right?
Yes.
Proverbs 18:1 says this: whosoever isolates himself. Let me read that again. Whosoever isolates himself
Yeah.
seeks his own desire. He breaks out against all sound judgment. God said we're designed for face-to-face.
Communication.
You say I got to go and take a walk. Now, I don't want to contradict myself. I am
Right.
not saying that you shouldn't go and take a walk and calm down and get yourself together,
Right.
but you should come back
Right.
for that face-to-face
You got to come back.
mutual
You gotta come
correspondence.
back. So what does healing look like?
I mean, the healthy space, you communicate it. As
You
we
got to
said.
communicate it.
Give me 30 minutes to calm down, but I will be back and we will talk about this. That's what it looks like.
When pursuers soften and withdrawers stay engaged, the cycle begins to break. Let me read that again. Let me say that again. When pursuers soften and withdrawers stay engaged, the cycle begins to break.
That's right. This mirrors God's heart over in Psalm 34:18, which says this: the Lord is close to the brokenhearted.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Closeness without force, presence without pressure. God is close to the brokenhearted. Both hearts are broken, whether you're pursuing
Yes.
or withdrawing.
Yes.
But when one softens and the other one stays engaged, the cycle breaks because God can then draw near
Wow.
to
I
both
like
of their
that.
hearts.
Yes. Yes. I like that. I like
Closeness
that.
without force, presence without pressure. That's it.
So if you recognize yourself in this cycle, here's the good news. You're not broken. You're just patterned.
Say it again. Say it again for the people in the back.
If you find yourself in this cycle, here's the good news. You are not broken. Your relationship is not broken. You're just patterned.
Patterned. Patterned to chase emotions. Patterned to run from emotions.
Wow. 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 Wow.
One runs after emotions. One runs away from emotions. We're patterned. We've lived our lives pursuing and withdrawing. We lived our lives chasing. We lived our lives hiding.
Yeah.
So if we can learn how to recognize that and change the pattern,
Yes.
we change the cycle.
I love it because patterns can be healed. And with awareness, humility and grace.
Read that.
Patterns can be healed.
There you go.
With awareness, humility, and grace.
So what do we want to leave couples? Well, is that what we want to leave couples with?
Yeah.
Let's do those last two lines again as kind of like a closing, if you will. If you recognize yourself in the cycle, go ahead.
Here's good news. You're not broken. You're patterned.
And what else about patterns?
And patterns can be healed with awareness, humility, and grace.
Now go ahead to the next time.
So next time, we'll explore how communication styles can either protect or poison connection.
Until then,
fight less
fight less.
about who's right and more about what keeps you connected.
Yes.
So until next time,
remember this.
build bridges and not walls.